No crazy introduction. Welcome back to another episode. This is the High Stakes Fighter Breakdown for the challenger, Diego Lopes. Let's waste no time. Let's get into it. Let's smoke another. So we got to break down Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, very, very talented, very, very explosive, aggressive, powerful, and extremely exciting. Came in and took the fans by storm, fighting Movsar Evloev on his debut, putting in the work in that fight. On a debut fight on short notice, put in the work. He won that fight because he won the fans over that night. And he's had them locked ever since, right? He knows how to bring excitement to a fight. He knows how to bring intensity to a fight. That fight with Jean Silva, right? He went out there and put the work to him. He went out there and matched the craziest Jean Silva right in the middle, and he put the work to him. And that's the type of stuff that people like about Diego Lopes, and that's why people want to see Diego Lopes. And that's why this fight is highly anticipated and extremely exciting, because people want to see, can Diego Lopes be the one to finally walk around with that belt? Like, people have been expecting him to be a champion. And think about it, your debut was against a guy who has been talked about to be a number one contender, and you pass him over and become champion. That would be a crazy story. But Diego Lopes, like I said, very explosive. What is he good at? What is he talented with? Well, the thing about Diego Lopes is he's game. He's game as fuck, right? He has no problem with playing any scenario in the octagon, right? Getting in any scenario in the octagon, he does not care. He's ready. He is about that smoke, whether it is on the ground, whether we are standing up. He wants to put the work in. He's coming at you, like I said, aggressive. The thing about Diego Lopes, too, is he's got a lot in the arsenal when it comes to striking. He's not afraid to bring things out that most guys might kind of keep in the arsenal that they mess around with in training camp, but they're too scared to take the chance to throw in a fight. Diego Lopes is the opposite. Diego can also stay very technically sound with his striking. He can stay very tight. He can work good combinations, right? He throws good kicks. The thing about Diego is if you get hurt, you get wobbled, you get off balance, he is swarming you. He is going to swarm you. He is not giving you a second to breathe. And that's the part of the aggressiveness of Diego Lopes that I, as a fight fan, I absolutely love. I hate seeing guys rock somebody and sit there and be overly patient. I know you don't want to gas yourself out, right? You don't want to gas yourself out. But sometimes in a championship fight, why not take the chance? You let a champion like somebody like Volkanovski get back into it, right? Say he wobbles Volkanovski early and doesn't go for the finish, just stays there holding his neck like he does doing the thing up here, but he stays right here, right? And doesn't actually advance. Well, Volkanovski's a champion for a long time. That sounded just like Anderson Silva. I'm champion a long time.
I'm champion for a long time. Remember?
The thing, he's been a champion for a long time. He knows how to make the adjustment. I've said it a million times. And it's not even about the adjustment. He knows how to recover, too. He knows how to recover. You rock a guy like that and don't finish him, you best believe he's going to come out in the next round recovered, and he is going to bring it. He is going to bring it. And a guy like Volk bringing the heat after getting rocked is much, much, much more fearsome than just having a regular Volk, right? If you rock Volk, you better fucking finish him, because he is going to come at you the next 3 rounds. And the thing about Volk is he's one of those guys where he gets better as the fight progresses. A lot of guys, they fade. He progresses. He gets better as the fight goes on, especially if he's leading the dance. So, Diego Lopes, if you rock him, you better go for the finish. Just go for the finish. right? I think that is a main thing that Diego Lopes has to focus on, is trying to get the finish, right? Almost show no respect from the first fight. I know sometimes that could backfire. That really can backfire. I understand. I totally understand. A lot of people would say that's not the best game plan. But I feel like in this scenario, show no respect. You knocked him down in the first round in the first fight, put that same pressure on him, and I think you have a better chance than allowing this to go 5. He's a much better fighter in 5 rounds than he is in the first few rounds. See, now, when I go through doing these keys to victory and I go through doing the negatives and stuff, can't lie. I kind of go through AI sometimes with a little bit of a more in-depth breakdown on what I can get, right, than what I can just pop into my head at the time. But sometimes they give you contradictions. Sometimes they really don't make sense. Sometimes I completely disagree with their keys to victory, right? They got the keys to victory as saying that Diego Lopes should, calm the storm in the first round. Fuck that noise. Right? People are saying, "Oh, you want to wear out. You want to make Volkanovski work and wear him out." And listen, Volkanovski ain't somebody who's tiring. He ain't somebody who's gassing. He has never been known as somebody who doesn't have a gas tank. His cardio is top tier. So what are you going to do to try to outlast 5 rounds of Volkanovski? I think the only thing that Diego Lopes should make sure that is he focused on his cardio, right? And he paces himself properly, but don't take your foot off the gas. Because in my opinion, when it comes to the keys to victory for Diego Lopes, first one, pressure. Right off rip. Show no respect. Put the pressure to him. Like I said in the Volk breakdown, if Volk is able to get comfortable and start to pick you apart with his jab, his lateral movement, his leg kicks, it's going to be a long night for Diego Lopes because he's not going to be able to set his rhythm. He's not going to be able to get as explosive. It's definitely going to slow him down. It's going to slow him down big time. But if he gets to Volk early, doesn't allow Volk to set up, doesn't allow Volk to get comfortable, he has a much better chance of getting a finish or just making it a tougher fight. Imagine if he put a lot of work to him in the first round, right? What if he put a lot of work to him in the first round? A lot of pressure, a lot of damage, not just a knockdown, not just almost a finish, but a lot of pure damage in the first round. He might be able to get the finish in the second, but you don't want this fight going to 5 with Volkanovski. To me, that is the most dangerous game plan, unless you are a guy like Islam Makhachev or Max Holloway. It is a dangerous game plan to try to go 5 rounds with Alexander Volkanovski when he progresses. So in my opinion, number one key to victory for Diego Lopes, pressure. Next key to victory, mix it up. Mix it up. Level change a little bit on Volkanovski. Make him think. Make him get to thinking. Now, he has great takedown defense. We already know that. We saw him against one of the best wrestlers in the UFC, and he had great takedown defense against him. He was able to get back up. He was able to defend the submissions. But that doesn't always mean that he can do it in every single fight, right? I do see Diego Lopes having that explosive style where if he just timed it properly and it was set up properly, he could end up putting Volkanovski on his back. Now, is he going to keep him there? That's a different question. That's a whole different story. But just having the mix-up in general, level changing, just mixing up the game, showing that there's more things in the arsenal for Volkanovski to think about, he has a much better chance of being able to get this victory. Now, if it's going to go 5 rounds, you know what I'm saying? If it's going to go, you got to end up doing more than just bringing high pressure trying to knock the man out for 5 rounds. It's not. Then you're definitely going to gas out. He's going to be able to utilize every one of your strengths as weaknesses and end up picking you apart through the second half of the fight for sure. So I think Diego Lopes has to, obviously, like I said, utilize that pressure, but mix it up a little bit. Mix it up is definitely a key to victory in my opinion. So with those 2 keys to victory comes the last one. Go for the finish. Huge key. Go for the finish. If you get him on the ground, go for the finish. If you rock him, go for the finish. Simple as that. Simple as that. Go for the finish. If you lose this fight, you ain't getting a third fight. So if Volkanovski ends up wiping the division again, wipes this next generation of the division, the Diego Lopez's, the Lerone Murphys, the Mos Varavloevs, if he wipes this next gen of the division, then guess what? It's gonna be a problem for Diego Lopes to try to get back to getting a title shot. So go for the finish. Huge key to victory is you got to try to get that finish, or at least if you're always going for it, right? And you're getting close to getting it each round, or 3 of 5 rounds, whatever the case may be, the majority might be able to get the decision. Like I said, it's going to be a much more difficult thing to do to get a decision win over Alexander Volkanovski, but Diego Lopes has possibilities. He has ways to win this fight. He definitely does, especially coming in as hungry as he is. That's another key to victory, because that's a negative against Volk, is how hungry he is. You know, he's got ways to win this fight. He's going to come in prepared, and he has to. He has to. Like I said, if he loses this fight and Volk stays on top for a while, you're going to be sitting out hoping you get a title shot one day. It's going to be difficult to come back to. All right, so we go into the negatives for Diego Lopes. Like I said, when you get into fights where you bring the intensity that he brings, right, it's not an opening or an error in his game. Really, it's not like he throws caution to the wind, but he's willing to take one to give one, right, or take 3 to give one, right? Like but he could take damage. He's got a good chin, right? He's got a good chin. So there's not. He's 31 years old. Got a good chin, explosive, fast, strong, durable. He's a tough motherfucker. Tough, and he's got a chin. He's durable, right? So I don't see his chin really being a negative, but he does take damage, which on the scorecards, you know how that goes. You know how that goes. So if you're coming in, you're trying to get them shots, and Volk is able to land that jab, throw you off the rhythm, do things of that nature, and be able to just give you more damage than you wanted, right? You're trying to get as much as you can, right? You're trying to go in there and land as many shots as you can. You end up getting jabbed to death. Like, that's what happens. Diego Lopes goes in there and he's trying to get his shots in, and he's getting clipped. He's getting hit with shots, right? He doesn't get rocked, but he gets hit with shots. So it makes it more difficult. It's another thing that throws him off the rhythm. So that definitely is a huge negative, is the fact that he's willing to stand in there and trade to get his. Now, in the last fighter breakdown for him, one of the negatives I had was inexperience of going 5 rounds and being in the position. Now, he's been in the position. He's had some big fights. He's been in front of massive crowds. So I don't know if the pressure like that will really get to him again in this fight, but it's possible. It's very possible, right? Big fights like this, a lot of guys do fold. A lot of guys can't handle the pressure of fights like this. So you never know. You never know. He might end up folding to the pressure again, but I think he can handle it. I think he's going to be a little bit better when it comes down to it. He might be able to handle it, but still, the amount of experience that Volk has in comparison to Diego Lopes in these scenarios, in this position, huge difference. So it could be a slight negative going into this fight. Footwork is another negative. You go up against a guy like Volkanovski who knows how to move. It's hard to really dictate what you're going to do with your movement. How you going to cut him off when he has continual lateral movement? You got to cut him off one side. He's moving to the other side. He gets around you, and he's landing jabs, leg kicks. He gets back around you the other way. It's tough. It's very tough. He knows how to mess your feet up. So footwork could definitely be a negative going into this fight. It did cause problems in the first fight where basically the same thing I'm saying is the whole rhythm, the tempo, slowing him down, messing him up, taking him off that rhythm and tempo. It messes with everything. And that's the way that Volk moves. Volk does that to majority of people that he fights because that's how he moves. If you watch Ilya doesn't chase him. He tracks him. He stays on him the whole time. He literally is mimicking every move. And that's kind of how you got to do Volk. Volk moves to the right, you got to move to your. If Volk moves left, you got to move to your left. You got to just keep following him, right? You got to not chasing him, right? Keep following him and closing the distance, slowly closing the distance, right? Because when you're laterally moving, you're not moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Very rarely are you moving forward. You have to plant and then move forward, right? Typically, you're going to move back if someone's coming towards you and you're not throwing strikes, and that's what Ilya did. He was able to force Volk back when he was able to see that Volk wasn't going to be able to come back again, right? Volk was backing up, back far enough up against the cage, was going around, right? He was rounding the cage, and that's when Ilya kind of bum rushed him with that combination where Volk doesn't have the opportunity to come back this way, where that's exactly what he needs to be able to have that lateral movement. He's going this way. He needs to be able to cut back this way. But if you have him cut off or trapped, if he does get this way, Diego Lopez is the type of guy that could land a sneaky left hook, a nasty left hook on a breakout or something like that, right? That's the way it is. Volk needs that lateral movement. That's why he can throw off the tempo of a lot of guys. But the way that Ilya dealt with that is exactly the notes that Diego Lopez should have taken this training camp, is to not follow, but to track him. You have to track him, kind of mirror his movements. That is one of a huge thing. So footwork is going to be a problem going into this unless he does something like mirroring his movements, trying to follow him, trying to slow down what Volk is really good at once Volk gets comfortable and setting that, right? If you don't get an early finish and you got to get into a fight a little bit with Volk, don't lean too much into trying to chase him. Track him, cut him off, slow him down, and corner him up against the cage to where he cannot get back out. He can't continue using the lateral movement if you back him into a corner. Even though there's no corners, really. I mean, there's corners in the octagon, but not like boxing corners. You can back him into the cage and cut him off enough, though. And I don't see Volk knocking him out, but that's what Volk said he's going for, so you never know. It's a very big possibility. Diego Lopez does have a tendency to leave his chin up when he is throwing his combinations. Not super sloppy, but he can leave his chin up when he's throwing those combinations. And Volk can sometimes go low and come over the top with a nasty shot. And like I said, Volk can knock anybody out if he lands the right one. So you never know, right? 37, power's the last thing to go. It's potential. He could land it. I think Diego Lopez is going to be able to get it done in this fight. He needs to go in there with the right game plan, though, right? If you do go for the bum rush, you can't get the finish in the first round. You get close, but you don't get the finish in the first round. You just better be ready to the fact that this man is going to make the adjustments, and you got to counter adjust. It's just that simple. You're playing a game of chess when you're fighting a guy like Volkanovski. So this ain't checkers. This is chess. So you're going to have to make the counter moves. You're going to have to be able to figure it out. If he figures you out, you're going to have to counter it and figure him out. That's the best way that I could really describe Diego Lopez being able to get the win over Volk. It's either you get an early knockout, because I don't see him being able to beat him in a 5-round decision, but we'll see. We'll see. But that's it for this high-stakes fighter breakdown. I appreciate you guys for watching. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando's out.